Hey everyone, it's time for another drawing tutorial, and today we are going to focus on how to draw a cheetah face. Now this one is going to be a little bit more realistic than my other videos, so it's not going to look quite so cartoony. It will still look a little bit cartoony, but it should be a pretty fun tutorial to teach some technical skills and also to create some really neat drawings. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the eyes, and this time I'm going to start with a little bit of a different shape than you're used to me starting with. So the eyes of a cheetah are actually almost like a triangle shape at the top, and then they're round on the bottom. So I'm going to start with one of these eyes. And you can see I'm starting with it's a sideways L, but it's a little bit rounded right in the corner. And then I'm just going to bring that down a little bit. I'm going to make a point just right on the edge there. And I'm going to make a point right here. So it's like I have a point here and I have a point here, but nothing in between. And then I'm going to go back in there and then make a really round edge. So that's a little bit less round than I would want it. So I'm just going to extend it a little bit. Then inside of that eye, to do the details, I'm going to shade a lot black, but I'm also going to leave a lot white. So what I'm going to do that is I'm going to go inside here and I'm going to make like a U shape like that, a U shape that just follows right along inside there. And I'm going to draw a little tiny circle like that. There is a white space right in the middle of that circle. You just can't see it too well because I'm not super zoomed in. And then I'm going to shade all of the rest of this except for those two shapes that I just drew so that it's all black everywhere except for in those two shapes. There we go. And I'm just going to zoom in really quick so that you can see what that really looks like. So there's a very, very tiny white circle that's right in the top of there. I actually could have probably drawn that a little bit bigger. I'm going to draw it bigger on the other side. So you want to make sure that you have the white circle right up there and then kind of like, it's almost like a crescent moon shape or like a U shape. Now I'm just going to zoom back out so that I can keep going. So now the other eye, I want to make sure it's far enough apart that it's not going to look like these eyes are too close together. And I also want to make sure it's not too far over because then it'll look silly. And I also want to make sure that these two eyes are totally in line. So this should be almost exactly where the top of the next eye is. So I'm just going to do that right there. And that looks like it's pretty level. I think it could be a little bit more level, but for this drawing tutorial, I think this is pretty good. And then as for the distance between this and this, I would say if you took this eye right here and you put one right here and then you put one right here, the distance between this eye and this eye should be the distance across two eyes, if you can tell. So now I'm going to draw the other eye, and this time I'm going to do my L shape so that it's kind of like backwards from the other one. Then I'm going to draw my little point and my other little point, just like that. I'm going to come in between them and make my round shape. So that's a lot more round, and that's more what I intended for this side, but I messed up a little bit. So now I'm going to go in there and I'm going to draw that C shape that I drew in the other one. And I'm going to draw my little white circle. And then I'm going to shade in everything black except for those two shapes. All right, so now I have my two cheetah eyes. Now what I need to do is I'm going to draw the little lines that are on either side of the nose of the cheetah. So to do that, I'm going to come down from the eye just a little bit on both sides like this. And then I'm going to come outwards in like a C shape. There we go. Now on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing, but backwards. just like that. And that's gonna be perfect for the sides of my mouth. Now, what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to draw the little piece that makes up the mouth. And unlike what I usually do, which would just be like a sideways number 3, I'm just gonna create kind of like an upside down V this time that goes right in between these two tear duct shapes, or these two, they're like C shapes that just go off of the eyes. So they look kind of like tears, but they're actually black spots for the cheetah. So you can tell that's just a little upside down V shape, or like the top of a house. Then I'm going to come up ever so slightly with a little line like that. Then I'm going to create the big triangle that is the nose of this cat. And to do that, I want to come down in a point, just like that on either side. And then I'm going to come up to a point right here and a point right here. So this isn't going to be really a triangle per se. It's going to be kind of a wonky shape, but it looks almost like a triangle. So I have a point there, point there. Then I'm going to make 2 bumps. 1, 2, just like that. And that's going to be the nose shape. So I guess you could say it's almost like a heart with 2 points on either side. Then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to shade that in. There we go. Now we have our first couple details for this cheetah. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a little bit of a chin. And to do that, I'm just kind of making a squiggly line that goes right in between the ends of that V, or the ends of that arrow. And you can see these are just kind of a little bit of a squiggly line. Now next, I want to go back up in here and I'm going to draw where the whiskers would go. And to do that, I'm going to do these dots that are in a line. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 dots that come towards the nose. I'm going to do another set right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 that also come towards the nose on that side. And on this one, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty, now we have all of that detail right in there that you need. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start drawing the details around the eyes that are going to help me to draw the cheeks of the cheetah. So underneath the eyes of the cheetah, there's actually like a little bit of a, it's not quite a C shape. It's almost like a hook, or like a sideways letter J. So I have like one kind of dash, and then I have a couple of little dots. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to have like a little dash and then some little dots, just like that. And if at any point in time I'm going too fast and you need to go back to get all of these steps, just pause the video, because I am going a little bit fast just to fit all the details into this drawing. So now that I have my dash and my 3 dots on both sides, you can see each one is like a hook, or like a letter J, kind of on its side. Now I'm going to have another layer of spots that's going to be right underneath that. So I'm going to do those. So that's just 3 dots on both sides. And then you can kind of add in some of these dots randomly right in here, because there's just some more that hang out right underneath there on the cheeks. All of those dots have to occur to help give the cheetah some camouflage. So now you can see I just added a couple more. Those last ones were random. The ones that are really important are these ones that we drew on the sides earlier. So those ones are going to help me to place my next set of dots, which are going to be like right here and right here. And then I'm going to have the edge of my face right here. But I'm going to do those 2 dots on either side before I do that. And you can see these ones are going to be a little bit bigger than the rest of the ones that I have. So I just drew those right next to the first set that I drew right underneath those eyes. And that looks pretty good. Now, The next thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and draw the side of my cheetah's face. So I'm just going to come right over here and I'm going to draw kind of like a squiggly line that's going to go down on both sides. Kind of a jagged line, kind of a squiggly line. And you can see it's just a little bit round, but not super round. Honestly, cheetahs don't have the roundest faces. So now that I have that on either side, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring it down a little bit further, just so that it looks like my cheetah has a neck. Alrighty, so now I have both sides of my cheetah's face drawn in. Now I wanna draw in the ears of my cheetah. Now this is gonna be easier for me to place because I already have all of these details in here. And the reason why it'll be easier is because the ears of the cheetah start kind of right below where the eye is. So if I just drew a straight line over here, this is going to be the bottom of the cheetah's ear. Just like that. So you can see it's very round and then it comes right back up to the top. Then this line lines up right with the edge of that eye. That's how it should look. Now on the other side, I'll do the same exact thing. I'm going to start right about at the bottom of the eye and I do that round shape that goes up and back towards that eye. So that's right about at the edge of that eye. Then I can just come right in here and I can draw the forehead of the cheetah. It should go up and back kind of down. So it just goes up a little bit in the middle. Alrighty. So this cheetah looks a little bit silly right now, but once you start filling in all of the details, it'll start to look more realistic and more like a cheetah really should look. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start filling in a lot of the dots, and I'm also going to fill in some of the hair in the ears. So to do the hair in the ears, I need to come and bring this line right here so that it goes across the ear. And then I'm going to make this like fluffy line right here that's just jagged. And then I'm going to bring it up and around, just like that. Then the inside of that ear would be shaded black. I'm not going to do that right now because I want to draw in the rest of my details first. Now on this side, I have this line that's also going up. So I'm going to complete that line and make my little jagged line and then outline the inside of that ear. That's how that'll go. Now the last detail that I need to really draw in the ears before I would shade it, if I was going to shade it right now, is I would add another little zigzag that is the hair that's inside of the ear. These guys have a lot of fur inside of their ears to help make sure that bugs don't get in there. So you have to make sure you have this first layer like right here and then the second layer right here. And that makes it look more accurate to the real animal. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I will go over here and I'm going to draw this little spot that goes right above the eye. And then I have another one that's right over here. Those go right over this point right here on the eye, where the eye comes up and then starts to curve the other direction. And I'm going to do another one right above them. And then I'm going to do another one right above there. Then over here, I'm going to start adding in some spots. Just like that. I'm not doing these totally random. I'm actually following the pattern on a real cat that I'm looking at. So you'll notice I have these ones that go straight up right here and right here. Then I have two here and I have two here. Then I'm going to have some more right here and some more right here. These are not random. They're actually almost kind of symmetrical. These guys aren't perfectly symmetrical, but they do have a lot of symmetry in their face. So you'll notice a lot of the spots repeat on both sides if you're looking at a real animal. Now I'm going to draw this spot that comes down the middle. So this goes down just past the eyes. And then there's going to be a little spot right here and like another one right there. I'll have a couple right here, a couple right there. I'm just going to connect that one right there. And I would have more that go right there. And now I'm just being a little bit random about it because I don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical, just a little bit. That looks pretty good for the top of the face. Now I want to add some more spots that go down here into the cheeks. And if you do add more spots, it will make it look a lot more detailed and it will make it look a lot more realistic. Doesn't necessarily have to be perfect spots, nor does it have to look exactly like the picture, but it does help a lot if it has a lot of spots. And then I'm even going to add some down here in the neck. But I'm not going to add too many right here because the leopard, or not the leopard, the cheetah actually becomes white on the tummy. So I'm going to stop these spots right there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side where I added more, but I'm going to stop right about in line with the side of the nose. And I'm just going to add some more. And then on this V, I'm just going to curve it up a little bit on either side, just so that it looks like that mouth is all coming together there. So the last couple details that I would add for this particular cheetah, I'm not going to draw the whole cheetah. I'm really just going to focus on the face. So I'll even move that. The last couple things I'm going to add are going to be a little bit of hair that's going to go right beneath the eyes. They have this white portion that's right underneath each eye, and it helps them to see better. So just like that and that. And then I think I also want to add a little bit of a line right here and right here on the nose. You don't have to add that if you don't like it. You don't have to add any of this if you don't like it. I'm just adding these details to look a little bit more accurate to the animal that I'm looking at. And then I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna kind of scribble some of this dark into the ear. There's that side. And then I'll scribble the other side too. And you can see I'm really leaving it so that you can still see a lot of those zigzag lines inside of the ear. That makes it look a little bit more like there's still fur in there. And there you have it. That is how I would go about drawing a cheetah face. And I think you should have a pretty good looking cheetah face yourself if you followed along. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope we have some excellent big cat drawings.